The Detroit Pistons have a huge offseason in front of them. Although they did not luck out and get the number 1 pick, they actually fell down about 5 spots to the number 5 spot. They still have an exciting young core to build around, led by 2 very good, very young guards in Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey. They have a plethora of young big men to choose from. They just need a little bit more wing depth. So today we're going to be talking about what the Pistons need to do this offseason, as I mentioned, all the young bigs that they have. So make sure you stick around to the end of the video, hit the like button, leave me a comment down below, and even hit the subscribe button, turn on that bell if you want to see more offseason NBA content. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get started looking at their offseason preview. The first thing we're going to take a look at here is their offseason guide, where, like I said, they do have the number 5 overall pick. You know, people were saying, hey, I had to watch a full season without Cade Cunningham, a full season of Killian Hayes, us winning 17 games, and we still don't get Victor Wembanyama. And yeah, it kind of stinks. They also have the 31st pick. They have about $37 million in cap space this season, and their only key free agent really is Hamidou Diallo, and that's not exactly a game-breaking one. I mean, you can afford to lose Hamidou Diallo. We'll take a look at the draft here first. Honestly, at 5, for me, if I'm the Pistons, I'm really looking at Cam Whitmore. 6'7", about 235, really physically imposing wing, and just look at the highlights. He dunks on anybody and everybody that is standing under the rim. Super athletic, and he is a tough shot maker. Really good at hitting contested three-pointers, which, you know, sometimes is kind of a backhanded compliment because he takes dumb shots at times. But if you get the shot selection under control, he's a 6'7" wing with tons of defensive upside, all the athleticism in the world. I mean, he's a guy with a lot of upside that you're looking at here at 5 that could turn into an all-star type player for you. I mean, easily a Saddiq Bey replacement, although he can't really shoot it like Saddiq Bey. But, you know, everywhere else, it feels like there's more upside for Cam Whitmore. The other options, Taylor Hendricks out of UCF. You come in with another power forward here. Now, like I said, you already have a bunch of bigs, but in the top 5, you can't really draft based off fit. So maybe they do go the Taylor Hendricks route, or going off the same topic there, you can't draft for fit in the top 5, so maybe you go Jarace Walker. Either option there, I would understand. And Jarace can play the 3. I honestly probably see him as a 3 at the next level. He will really need to work on his offensive game, though, if he's going to survive in the modern NBA. And then maybe they just take a shot on Grady Dick. Hey, the kid can really score it. Let's bring him in. Although Grady Dick in the top 5 is a little bit crazy. Even though I'm a big-time Grady Dick supporter, I think that's a little bit crazy to say he's a top 5 pick. Now, at number 31, here's some of the options on the board. Andre Jackson, Terrence Shannon, or Jordan Miller. We'll start with Terrence Shannon, another guy that is physically imposing. He is NBA ready based off his build. A big dude, and when he gets going downhill, you better watch out. So, coming out of Illinois, he can also score it a little bit. That's a guy that you could look at. Someone else you could go after here is Jordan Miller out of the University of Miami, a guy that really improved his stock this year in the March Madness tournament, where Miami went on a little bit of a run there. He was a guy instrumental in that run. And then Andre Jackson out of UConn, another guy here that you could be looking at as potentially someone that, you know, can come in, play the backup 3. You know, you're just looking for wing depth if you're the Pistons, to be honest. In the draft or in free agency. Now, like I said, there's a logjam at the center spot. Marvin Bagley, you can say he's more of a power forward, but Stewart, Wiseman, and Duren are all traditional centers. Bagley averaged about 12 and 6.5 rebounds this year for the Pistons. 53% from the field, 29% from 3 for him. So, I mean, he had a solid season. There's Jalen Duren there as well. Another guy, 9 points a game, 9 rebounds. You know, he's got a lot of potential. He's a guy probably you're going to hold on to, a lottery pick from just a year ago. He also shot at 64% from the field in only 25 minutes. So he really produced in his limited playing time. You got Beef Stew, and I feel like the city of Detroit will riot if Beef Stew is traded. 11.3 points a game and 8.1 rebounds. 44% from the field, even trying to expand his game a little bit, so maybe he's trying to turn into a bit of a stretch 4, if that is an option for him. I'm not sure, though. I'm not sure if that's in the cards. And then Wiseman, about 13 and 8. So they all kind of average similar numbers this year for the Pistons. Wiseman in 25 minutes a game. So as you can see, you can't play them all because, obviously, you only have so many minutes to go around. Now, they have $37 million to spend in free agency, but only 2 roster spots, which is a bit interesting. So here are some guys that I feel like maybe they should target. Starting with Josh Richardson, who averaged about 10 points per game, 2.7 rebounds, 2.7 assists per game this year for the Spurs and Pelicans. He is a nice 3-and-D wing that you can bring in, getting up there in age, but he has been on a lot of playoff teams, so he's got the playoff experience, 43% from the field, 37% from 3 this year, as well as 1.1 steals a game. So he's a guy that you could definitely look into bringing in on a cheaper contract as well. Like I said, you just need 3-and-D wings, as many as you can get. Kelly Oubre Jr., another guy here, averaged about 20.2 points per game this year for the Hornets as their lead guy. He played a lot of minutes for the Hornets, 5.2 rebounds per game as well. So he's a guy that you're definitely going to look at, and he might be asking for a little bit more money because his stats are a bit inflated. 43% from the field, 32% from 3. We'll see what happens there with Kelly Oubre. I'm hoping my Hornets retain him, to be honest. Now, taking a look at next year, we'll see who the lineups are going to be, because this is subject to change, but as of right now, this is what I've got it looking like. Basically the same team as last year, which, if you're a Pistons fan, that's unfortunate, because like I said, you won 17 games, However, Cade at the point, coming back, second-year Ivy instead of rookie Ivy, and a full year of Wiseman, maybe that can change your fortunes around. Bojan is getting a bit older. Maybe you can bring in Kelly Oubre and play Bojan off the bench, or you can play Oubre off the bench. Either one, this Pistons team is not going to go overnight into a contender. Now, Cade, like I said, hopefully he has a good jump this year. Same thing with Jaden Ivey. Obviously we were kind of robbed of a year of Cade, and then we'll see. At center, you could start. It's basically 4 guys for 2 spots. You could start any of them, and I'd be like, cool. That makes sense. Coming off the bench, Killian Hayes at the backup point. I think they're going to stick with him for another year. And then you got Kelly Oubre at the backup 2, Cam Whitmore at the backup 3, Jalen Duren at the backup 4, and Isaiah Stewart at the backup 5. That's a solid bench. Kelly Oubre Jr., 20-point per game scorer. Cam Whitmore, I think it's going to take some time for him to develop in the NBA. He's a guy that you're drafting for upside, but if he hits his ceiling, he's a top 5 player in this class. If he doesn't, he could be bad. He could be very bad. That could look like a bad reach when you go back and look at it. But, you got to take some risks. You've got a great young core. So, you're just trying to build and develop right now. The others, Josh Richardson's there, Alec Burks. You also got Isaiah Livers. And then I'm just saying, hey, maybe they draft Jordan Miller in the second round because you're looking for wing depth. You almost have 2 first-round picks this year because of how bad you are, so you get 31. But, yeah, that's what the roster is looking like next year. Like I said, only 2 spots to bring someone in free agency. And then maybe in the draft, they'll probably end up having to trade somebody. I doubt they bring back Hamidou Diallo, but we will see. With that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like button and leave me a comment down below, as it really helps us out in the YouTube algorithm. And with all that being said, thank you so much for watching today's video.